All right, so here we go with James 1:20. For the anger of man does not achieve the righteousness of God. Now, where we just left off on the last verse, James said, be quick to hear or understand, slow to speak, and slow to get hot or slow to get angry. So let's break this down. For the anger of man does not achieve or produce the righteousness of God. Now, by righteousness of God, we're talking about the correct way to act, that things that we're supposed to be doing. So going back to this anger of man, what are some ways that we get angry? What is this anger of man? It's when we get offended. Somebody stepped on our toes, cut us off in traffic. And then another way is when we're jealous. We see something that somebody else has and it makes us frustrated that we can't get that, or they must have cheated to get that. There's that jealousy there. Book of Proverbs, Proverbs 18:19 talks about how when somebody gets offended, it's really difficult to close the gap and to maintain or reconcile that relationship. So that person has been offended, and it might have been because they decided that they weren't going to be slow to hear, slow to understand. The other one is being jealous. And that the Bible's got all kinds of stuff on jealousy. Proverbs 27:4 talks about jealousy and anger being connected there as well. So there's two verses there, Proverbs 18:19 and then also 27:4. So let's look at this. If the anger of man doesn't work out, what does God get angry at? Now God does get angry. So one of the things that he gets angry at is when we're not treating him or other people properly. So in our society, if we've turned our backs on a certain group of people, or we're not holding bad guys accountable for their actions, makes God angry. It's Jeremiah 21:12 talks about that with the people in Judah. Another one is we're not keeping God number one as a people or as a person. So those are some of the things that God wants, and when we don't do that, it makes him angry. So being angry for those things can achieve the righteousness of God. Now, I think it's really funny that it's a super easy lesson. It's simple, but sometimes our pride and our arrogance kind of gets in the way of us doing this. And I can kind of imagine James, back in high school, the teacher's rattling his cage a little bit and he decides to pop off and he gets, a detention. So as he's walking home with Jesus is all like, all right, so you popped off at the teacher. How'd that work out for you? It's kind of weird because, we have those same lessons, and as adults, we do the same thing, whether it's with our spouse or our boss or a policeman. We decide that, hey, you can't treat me like that, so I'm going to pop off. And then of course, it's all like, well, dude, how'd that work out for you? That anger of man, it's not going to work out good for you. So it is a simple lesson to learn, and it's one of those ones that I know all of us need to be reminded of.